1 week after the beatification of Blessed Pope Paul VI, we received a lot of inquiries about him, especially from the youth. So let us look at the life of this great Pope and review some highlights of his papacy. The future Pope Paul VI was born to the pious Montini family in Brescia, Italy on September 26, 1897. He was given the name Giovanni Battista Enrico Antonio Maria. He grew up as a precocious child, reserved, studious, wordsmith, cultured, and no nonsense, which the world had a glimpse of during his papacy. He was ordained a priest on May 29, 1920, and later served in the Vatican Secretariat of State under Pope Pius XII from 1939 to 1954 alongside Monsignor Domenico Tardini. He was appointed Archbishop of Milan and was consecrated a bishop on December 12, 1954. In 1958, Saint John XXIII named him a cardinal. After the demise of good Pope John XXIII in 1963, the cardinals elected Cardinal Montini as Pope. He continued the work of his predecessor, continued Vatican II, brought it to conclusion in 1965, and implemented its directives for renewal. Much can be said about the papacy of Blessed Paul VI. Here are some highlights. Pope Paul VI was very concerned about the unity of Christians and peace in the world. In 1964, he met with the ecumenical Patriarch Athenagoras I in Jerusalem, which led to the lifting of the mutual excommunication that both churches served to one another in the Great Schism of 1054. Paul VI also dialogued with the Coptic Patriarch Shenouda III of Alexandria in 1973, which resulted in a common declaration on the Creed. He also initiated dialogues with Anglican and Protestant churches. In fact, he was the first pope to receive the Anglican Archbishop of Canterbury as head of a church and opened the Anglican Center in Rome to increase mutual learning and knowledge between Anglicans and Catholics. In 1965, he created a working group to collaborate with the World Council of Churches to plot ways for dialogue and cooperation. Then, in 1967, he approved the collaborative effort between the Catholic and Protestant Bible Societies for the translation of the Bible. In his visit to the United Nations headquarters in New York, he pleaded for peace. He said, "No more war, never again war. Peace, it is peace that must guide the destinies of people and of all humankind." Like his namesake, St. Paul, the apostle to the Gentiles, Pope Paul VI wanted to bring the gospel to all peoples. Throughout his papacy, he visited 6 continents, earning the title the Pilgrim Pope. He was the first pope since the 9th century to come to the East. We Filipinos were blessed when he set foot on our soil in 1970. He was the first pope to have visited the Philippines. And did you know that, dear friends, his was one of the 73 goodwill messages that were transmitted in time for the first lunar landing by Apollo 11? But aside from his pastoral visits, he reformed the Vatican Curia and set up offices of collaboration like the Synod of Bishops. He also gifted the Church with a treasury of teachings and writings. Apart from the Vatican II documents that he promulgated, some of his notable writings included Populorum Progressio, where he dwelt on the development of peoples in relation to employment, the distribution of goods, peace, and justice. Humanae Vitae, where he underlined sexual ethics in married life and the defense of the unborn against abortion. Evangelii Nuntiandi, where he outlined the paths of evangelization in the modern world. He also wrote moving documents on the Blessed Virgin Mary, and in fact, he formally proclaimed the Marian title Mater Ecclesiae, Mother of the Church, at Vatican II. Brothers and sisters, we hope we were able to contribute to your knowledge of Blessed Paul VI. His cause for sainthood began in 1993, which resulted to the declaration of his heroic virtues in 2012. A miraculous healing of an unborn child in California attributed to his intercession in the 1990s led to his beatification last Sunday, October the 19th, 2014. We now pray for another miracle so that he could be declared among the saints. Blessed Paul VI, intercede for the people of God, whom you once shepherded and loved with your whole heart. Amen.